What's up guys, I'm Ray, and today in this video I'm going to be showing you how to complete the mailroom in Roblox's The Experiment. So those of you who are doing the trials for the very first time, this is just an in-depth video on how to do the mailroom portion of the trials. If you're doing the trials for the first time, I would recommend watching the video at the top of the screen, or it's going to be in the description and that will show you how to complete the trials. So those of you who have done the mailroom before probably have run into running out of time every single time you do it because you're going all the way across the room just to get one little stupid code. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's only two possible combinations and they're the most simple ones that you can do. Now I'm going to throw up a chart that explains every single thing you need to know, and I recommend that you take a picture of this or write it down because you're going to need it later to understand. Basically, every time you get a code from those 5 different booths in the back, from each number there are only 2 possible combinations. So if you were to get 1, it would either be 1 or the first digit in the set of 6 to 10. If you were to get 2, it would be 2 or the second digit in the number of 6 to 10, which is 7. 3 or the third digit in 6 through 10, which is 8, and so forth. Alright, so those of you who didn't understand that, I'm about to give you a visual representation, and I'm going to kind of question you as we go along. We're going to go through a video where I go through the mailroom multiple times, and I'll tell you what was messed up, what was good, what was bad, and so forth. Alright, so just a disclaimer before we start. Anytime that you are doing the mailroom, always be paying attention to the numbers on the right, which is 6 through 10. Don't go to the left side ever. You don't need to go to the left side and look at the numbers. You don't need those. You only need the right side. Other than that, let's get into it. So right off the bat, 1 has x6, right? So, as I said already, you should only be looking at the right side, which is 6 through 10. 1 through 5 on the left, you don't need that, ever. So, if we go back to the little chart that I made, I said that the code on that piece of paper at 1, the code on that piece of paper would either equal 1 or it would equal 6. So the reason that we only do 6 through 10 is the fact that if there are only 2 combinations, all I have to do is look at 1 and say, is this the combination? And if it's not, I know that it's the other combination. T5, that is not the code that we were just looking at, so that must mean it's not 6, it's actually 1. And then the right side is always the number that you were just looking at, the top booth. And then the left number is the number that you just figured out, which is 1. Okay, number 1 again, it is x4. So if we go over to 6, and it's not x4, what is it? It's 1. Number 2 is h3, so we go to the second sequence in 6 through 10, which is 7. I'm not even going to lie, I forgot the code. But if it is the right code, then you put 7. It looks like it was the right code. Alright, so 1 is y4. And if we go over to the first number in 6 through 10, which is 6, y4 is not displayed on that paper. So we automatically know that it's 1. Number 2 is yo. 7, which is the second number, is not yo. So we know it's not 7. So it must be 2. Now at this point we're actually in the second trials. No, we're in the third trials. There are 6 different trials that you can go through. And the one previously was trial number 2. This is trial number 3, which we're going to go through, and then the last one will be trials number 4. So, number 1, H7. 6 is Z4. That is not the code that we saw, so it must be 1. Number 2 is Z4. If we go over to 7, that is not Z4, so we know that it is 2. Number 1 is X5, so if we go to number 6, that is not X5, so we know that it's 1. Number 2 is yo. We go over there, it is not yo, so we know it's 2. Getting really tense here. 3 is yo. If we go over to there, that is yo. So that means that it's 8-3. Number 1 is H1, which is not 6. So that must mean it's 1-1. Number 2 is yo. 7, the second number in that sequence, is not yo. So it must be 2-2. Number 1 is Z4, and it doesn't matter because I ended up passing the trials. Now this is right on to trials number 4. And if you mess up the code in this version of the trials 4 through 6, trials 4 through 6, it's not going to be nice to you and it's going to instantly fail you. So 1 is H90. Codes are getting a lot harder now. If I go over to 6, 6 is H90, which means 6 is 1. Number 2, T93, 2-2. 3 is T53. I went a little off track there, and that's probably what made me fail the run. Don't ever go to the left like I did. At this point, at level 4 of 6, it honestly just gets really stupidly stressing, and you kind of don't even know what you're putting in at that point. 4 is Y83. If we go over to 4, that's not Y83, so it must be 4-4. And that is what I got wrong, because I was stressing out way too much about it. Right back to 4, H73. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about at this point, I don't know what to tell you. This is as hard as it's going to get. So, and I also failed that one. 1 is X5. So 6 is 1. 2 is Z23. Go to the second sequence. Oh look, 7 is Z23. So we just put in 7 too. 3 is Y73. That's not right. So it's just 3-3. 1 is T01, so 6-1. 2 is Y81, and that's not Y81, so it's 2-2. Wait, what? Never mind. I guess I got that wrong. Number 4 is X92, and I went over there to look for it. Not the greatest idea, because I just get very confused here, and I just keep falling behind, and that's not something you want to do. I barely passed this trial here. Alright, so 1 is Y40, and that's not Y, might have been Y30. Yeah, no, that was right. Yeah, so that 6 was not Y40, so it was 1-1. 3 is H23. That's not H23, so it must be 3-3. And at this point, I passed the trials, and it goes to a black screen, because I don't have any more clip from that. Anyways, if you guys don't understand, just ask me in the comments, and I'll explain it to you. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this video, and goodbye.